Installing traditional snow stakes is time-consuming, expensive, and downright dangerous. Traditional fiberglass stakes cost as much as double, take twice as long to install, not to mention fiberglass splinters. That's where Plow-Right marking stakes come in. Our patented installation tool and carrying pack makes snow stake installation a breeze, installing up to 450 stakes an hour. Want the fastest and best snow stake system on the market? Look no further than Plow-Right marking stakes. Our stakes are made of hollow polypropylene, which will not crack, break, or splinter like traditional fiberglass stakes. 3 size options, 26, 36, and 46 inches, and 5 standard colors, orange, green, blue, red, and hot pink. Want more visibility than our standard stakes? Look no further than our reflective stakes, which sport a 2-inch 3M reflective band that is the highest grade reflective material ever put on a snow stake. Truly let your stakes be seen. Visit plow-right.com and order yours today. And make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. The link is in the podcast description. And best of all, everything is 100% made in the USA.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and a good morning. Well, really excited about today's podcast. Actually sitting across from what I would consider VIP in the house. They're humble as all be out, but I'll tell you what, they got a great thing going on around here, and many of you guys know these folks. Returning guests, always a crowd favorite, and friends of mine. I really appreciate what these guys are putting together. We're joined at the Sno-Power HQ all the way over here in Muskegon, Michigan, joined by Rick and Bryson. Good morning, guys. How are we doing?
Doing good.
Welcome
doing
out.
Good. Thanks for coming.
Rick, it's your baby here. This business has been around for, 20, 30 years now, I guess, at this point?
08 with Hurricane. Started in 08, yeah.
Yeah, and it's grown to unfathomable levels, probably. Then, did you ever see it this big and everything that you guys had going on and have had going on?
No, it really is American dream to start out. Matter of fact, you were talking to Rodney earlier, and we had some people coming to get some hurricane parts, and Rodney's like, hey, if it's got a serial number bigger than 35, I know I did the wiring art, because we were all hands on deck back then.
And you said you used to sign every personal machine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I would Sharpie each one because I would hand drive it because I wanted the QC right, quality control.
Quality control. Wow. And so for anybody who doesn't know the whole story, we got a lot of new listeners to the show. I think we were over here at the same time last year. I was picking up my F-14, or maybe I was picking up a week or two later. I forget. I think I was driving back from Chicago, actually getting my lights installed on the truck.
That's right.
Is that what it was? Because I did like a little marathon, 2-day marathon. I did USIF for a day. Then I came over here with you guys for a day. Bryson's the wizard over here. He put the Sno-Power on in half a day, and we're back on the road and waiting for snow at the back in Michigan. But for anybody who doesn't know your guys' whole story, I always like to add a little context to the whole mix. Maybe with your background, a lot of new listeners, like I said, since 12 months ago. So what are we doing here? How did Hurricane and Sno-Power and even Rick all come to be?
Lawn care and snow plowing my whole life, and I had a real big place called Tiffany Woods, and there's a reason why it says Woods. And we had stand-on riding lawnmowers, and I was pushing Little Wonder blowers and with your tongue hanging out, going up and down the hills around the trees. And I got looking at it, and I'm like, man, I can take the lawnmower deck off of this stand-on riding lawnmower with 8 bolts.
Right.
Then I can build like this carriage and put my Little Wonder on it, and then I've got my chariot pushing this thing around.
Sure.
And so that's what we did. And then the guys didn't check the oil on the Little Wonder. And then the engine on the Little Wonder went out. It was like a 9-horse engine. And I got looking, I'm like, wow, this is a 20-horse Kohler. That's 9. Why don't we do a jack shaft, and we'll do 2 Little Wonders, and I'll put a 90-degree gearbox, and we'll drive it off of the engine that used to drive the PTO for the lawnmower. And then we really had it. It blew twice as hard, and then thanks to my dad, who passed a couple years ago, he says, you don't realize what you've done.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm saving time and saving money.
Yeah.
He says, you need to try and patent it because everybody else is going to want to do that too.
Wow.
And we were able to patent it.
Yeah.
And that's the story on Hurricane. And we built it from scratch, ground up. The first one took me almost 3 years.
Wow.
$167,000 out of the pocket.
Just investing into this thing.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
And I got it back. I sold it for $8,500, and it was probably about 5 years ago. I knew where it was, and I got it back, and it's in our museum.
Wow. No way. And that was, and for a little context, 10, 15, 20 years later, whatever, we're here now. 08, you said, right? So 15 plus years later, you see the billy goats, you see the Skag windstorm. You know, now it seems kind of common sense. Yeah, why wouldn't you add a leaf blower to the front of a mower or, and I know other brands have some stuff most likely coming down the pike.
Sure.
Careful how you phrase that. But that wasn't the conversation 15 years ago. You stuck out probably like a sore thumb.
Yeah, and 08, 09 was terrible on financial stuff for everybody. It was tough times back then, and that's when we were starting. But it saved so much time that people would invest in it. I was demoing. I put 1 million miles on vehicles and going to all the dealers.
Wow.
And I had a real big distributor out on the East Coast, and Dave Dollard is the guy there.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, Rick, stand-on riding blowers are here to stay.
Wow.
And that was pretty cool.
No way.
No one has ever done it, so...
What did you think when was it well received? Were you laughed out of the room? You know, like man, you're getting me all choked up, Bryce. We got a tissue around here, bro. Like I did not. Dude,
that's all right.
I haven't slept in 5 months, bro. You start crying, I'm gonna start crying here. You know,
some if you want.
Yeah. This is the American dream. Like I hope you guys appreciate this stuff listening in. Like not everybody's role is to just cut grass. Some people, you guys want to tinker, and this is like my favorite tinker story. Making something out of it besides maybe a Nick Carlson with Mulchmate, who same thing. He said, put $1 million into his Mulchmate, sold his company, put $1 million into Mulchmate, and then came to Equip Expo in 1819 with like $20 in his pocket. and 90% of the people laughed him out of the room, and the other 10% were the big boys saying that'll sell. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's doing 8 digits now. I think in his first quarter. I think he said publicly. I was like, damn, son, like that's so you guys are doing the same. But he's doing the same thing you're doing the same thing. He is like, I love these kind of stories because like I said, not everybody's destined to grow the next $20 million Perfect Cut or the $10 million this company. Like, if you want to get a patent and frankly, I have no idea what I'm talking about. A patent, copyright, machine something, license something. There's millions of people that have made hundreds of millions of dollars in the green industry that way.
Yeah.
So what was the feedback out there with the Hurricane back in the day?
Well, they couldn't believe that people would spend back then $10,000 just to do the spring cleanup and a little bit in the fall.
Sure.
But then now, as you look, everybody has them during the summer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's your Segway to drive around with a backpack on and get all the leaves and there's just so much all the debris and it's just.
I'll tell you, 15 years later. And even more so, probably the last 4 or 5 years since you guys let Vanguard, Billy Goat, all those guys acquire it, Ferris. Who's the actual main company? Is that Briggs & Stratton?
Briggs & Stratton.
So when Briggs & Stratton purchased it, now I see every trailer with a Hurricane, whether it's a P2000 or Z3000, an X3000, or it's the Ferris 1000 or whatever it's called, the SKU is. But there's not a trailer now that I don't see that doesn't have either the mid-size one or the full-blown unit. Like it's almost... Like, 2 mowers and a Hurricane.
That's right.
And frankly, some of the big guys, I mean, it's a couple Hurricanes. And then, by the way, even to zoom out even more, not that you need the pump up here, but when I'm at a gas station, you see the big national companies and even the regional companies, asphalt, concrete, construction. You'll be driving around and see some Dan's Excavating, doing the 96 over here. And those guys will have a couple Hurricanes. I'm like, what the hell could they use it for? Dust control, cleaning up the roads. Just random stuff like that.
Yeah, just prepping the roadway for seal coat and everything.
Yeah. And I'm like, who would have thought like a Hurricane stand-on blower that somebody would have laughed you out of the room 15 years ago is now on not only in the green industry but many other industries as well.
Yeah.
You try to stand on those shoulders of giants doing this kind of stuff, and you would be one of those guys. And I'm just like, dude, this guy's like paving the way, like literally. Bryson, how do you feel about your old man and everything he's got going on? I mean, that's big shoes to fit, to fill.
Oh yeah, it's like this. Just thinking about like hurricane and everything. Because like back in the day, it's like you're spending $10,000 and all it does is blow air.
Right.
Like everyone said
for like 3 weeks.
Exactly. For 3 weeks out of the year for fall cleanups.
Yep.
And then, the talk about we're at Davy Tree a month and a half ago or whatever saying, dude, thank you so much. We use it year round and they're in Florida.
Wow.
So nothing but condos. He's like, I got, 15 miles
HOAs.
of sidewalks.
Wow.
He's
Just like clean up and
he's like, dude, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's amazing.
That's really, really cool. And so that's Hurricane. What's the there's a tandem story here, which is really unique, with Sno-Power. So Sno-Power, was at the same time or shortly thereafter, or
It was shortly thereafter, about 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started, we've always been building blades since the 80s.
Okay.
But when we started actually building where it ties into the hitch receiver and the fifth wheel rails was about 2013, late 2013.
Okay.
So
that's 10 years already under your belt with that. And so Ebling, from what and you know the whole history here, but I feel like Ebling and those guys had invented the back blade, right? Is that right? Or somebody like that? Or what's the whole story there?
No, it all started in Grand Rapids, and I don't think you'll mind me using his name, but Carl Mast.
Carl Mast.
He's the one that, he's an Imagineer too.
Okay.
And he came up with it. The name was called Swing Wing.
Swing Wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the center section and then the wings that come out because he does so many driveways.
Okay.
And he wanted to be able to be more efficient.
Okay.
And man, we've been plowing with the Swing Wing since middle 90s. And before then, it was just a rear plow, and that was in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for a minute, just for some context here. So,
Yeah.
Bryce and I think we were born in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? You were plowing snow already for 10
I bought
years.
my first new truck in 89.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you got 30, 40 years in the industry.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I talked to Troy Clogg, and he's like, he's got trucks that are 20, 30 years old, and Frankenstein machines back together because he takes the best out of everything and then recycles it all. And he's like, how old do you think that truck is? I'm like, I don't know, Troy. He's like, that's a 1984, whatever, International. I'm like, I was born in 86, bro. It's incredible to see the resourcefulness. So the back blades really became a thing with you guys. I feel like you guys really popped onto the scene though. Like I know a couple like Ebling and a couple other guys have them, but I don't know anybody that was doing what you guys were doing, with the wings articulating and the fifth wheel mount, like you were saying, Bryson. Mm-hmm. So that really put you guys in a different conversation than a lot of the people in the same industry as you.
Yeah, however we were able to break out, it was the hitch because it's really hard to get a plow on the back of the truck.
Sure.
Because every truck is different. And then you have the resitch. And in order to really tie it to the truck, you have to go farther up the frame rail.
Yeah.
And that's where I was able to get a patent on the fifth wheel rails and the resitch.
Oh, okay.
And then I knew every truck, you can get a fifth wheel rails put in and you can have a resitch.
Yep.
So what we used to do underneath the truck to get deep into the frame, now you can do it into the bed of the truck.
Which every truck has.
Exactly.
Right. Arguably.
So we were able to go to market and we knew it would fit Ford, Dodge, Chevy because of the fifth wheel rails. And we made our attachment adjustable for long box, short box, and height off the ground.
Wow.
So whenever someone called, it's like, yeah, I know it'll fit.
Yeah, right.
And you only need about 2 hours to adjust it.
Yeah.
And you're plowing snow.
Well, that, it's always like right place, right time, for a lot of things, but also like great. So I always say you have to have like a great product. I just did a podcast on this. So you have to have a great product and also great marketing. And I feel like you guys had this incredible product, turn your neck and you're like, what was that again? And then I feel like Stanley Dirt Monkey came through.
Yeah.
Kind of, and I'm not saying anything more than, hey, right place, right time for him to be here as well, because he was literally 2 miles up the road. I was here shooting some videos for you with Hurricane. It was like my first shop tour. I was like, I have no idea who these people are. Mm-hmm. But I brought Liz, because that's how excited I was. And that was like my second year of YouTube. And Stanley, some way, shape, or form, I knew he would be in the air. And I shot him a text. I don't even know how I had his number at that point. And he's like, yeah, I'll swing by. And he came by a little bit later, like 7, 8 p.m. I remember it was dark. And he was just, scratching the chin. I was like, what the hell is all this? And then you guys were able to link up, and he got a plow and started putting it out there, and he called it a pole plow, all those days. I'm like, it's a back blade, but to each their own, of course. but you had a really unique product, and then you had Stanley, who's just like the GOAT of YouTube and social media, and he's just an incredible dude. I always make fun and joke and love Stan, but he is really, really good at his craft, and I just feel like that just helped you guys get the exposure that the plow probably deserved. I don't know how you really say that while still staying super humble, but like it seemed like a catalyst, like a synergy thing came together, and it just exploded.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, he's got a lot of horsepower.
Stan?
He's just raw. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
If it's not right, he's going to tell you it's not right.
Well, he's made or break product launches.
Oh, literally.
Some of you guys know, some of you guys don't know, but if you want a warehouse cleaned out and selling products, Stanley is your guy. And if you make something that's crappy and Stanley calls it out, your warehouse will sit.
Sit full.
Sit full. So, what was your experience with that whole couple year window and the hurricane that is Stanley coming through?
Yeah. Actually, he didn't even. We set him up with a hurricane when he picked up and got that rear plow.
Yep.
And he just kind of dabbled in it. And actually, he was just borrowing it, and he still got it.
Never bring it back.
It saves him so much time.
Yeah, because I remember watching him do those HOA videos.
Yeah.
That boulevard on that hill, one of his big commercial sites.
Yeah,
and he was knocking that thing out. And I was like, damn, that thing, that's what I was just filming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I need to buy that, Rick. I said, no, you're a good man.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You can have that. I appreciate, because he is so genuine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he wasn't like, I'll do a video for 10 grand.
No.
He wasn't like that.
No.
He actually tried to give you cash.
Yeah.
Remember? And you were like, no. And I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a younger version of Brian. But I'll still take it, by the way, if he wants to wrench. But did that really help you guys get a little bit more exposure than what you guys had at the time? Because social media had just started kind of Instagram, and the TikToks were just coming around and online. Social media is wild, the on-ramp of that the last 5, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, it's definitely on an incline.
Totally.
It's never going back down.
I mean, you've had some videos do 10 million views with the trip video and the...
Yeah, just beating the plow up.
Yeah.
I think one video is like 18.3 million views.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, geez, Pete.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's like the state of California. Like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Seeing your whole damn thing on their 30-second phone,
Yep.
Wow. What a wild thing for a small business to utilize. That's incredible to me. So how are sales with Hurricane? I mean, not Hurricane, Sno-Power. I mean, side note, elephant in the room. You guys sold Hurricane to Briggs.
Yeah.
Did okay.
I can't complain.
Can't complain. And then, when the bigger somebody grins, the better it is, right, Bryson?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like sitting over here lopsided. He probably has a bad back because his wallet's pushing him off. He's got
have a wallet on.
He's got a bad disc. You know what I'm saying? But I aspire to be there one day, my friend. But then Sno-Power, things are going really well there. I think you were doing some licensing with Boss. Help them out a little bit.
Yeah. The rear plow, we had struggles like with Hurricane. It took me 5 years for people to understand they needed a Hurricane because they weren't going to spend the 10 grand.
Right, sure.
And with the rear plow, people weren't sure they wanted it because it's not on the front. It's a new, innovative way of doing things.
Totally.
Only in Western Michigan and maybe in New York.
Right, sure.
So I'm like, you know what? If I license that to them, I already know I want to put, in essence, the rear plow on the front.
Okay,
the
right.
F12 and 14. I'm like, let them go with it.
Right.
Because they've got a ton of marketing horsepower. And if anybody can do it, they can do it.
Sure.
And I'm going to sit over here and do my front. And because I felt it was a path of least resistance for us.
Natural evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we put on the front, and they're doing the rear with their horsepower. But the front is really taking off.
I legit got my 14 last year. I can't talk about it enough to not sound like I'm overselling it. Right. Like I'm like, I got to slow down because people are like, Fullerton, you hype up everything. And I'm like, no, I hype up a couple things a lot.
Yeah.
Right. But the things that work, I similarly, I'm like, dude, it's helping my actual company grow. And that was my second plow, my second truck, the red truck that I have, the darker red truck that I have. And that was our commercial parking lot plow. And we were getting a bunch of these sweet spot, 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre sites. And I needed a productivity machine. I was looking at an EXT, and a whiteout. And you and I always kept in touch, talk a couple times a year. And you're like, whoa, hey, before you do that, give me a shout. I'm working on something. And I'm like, I like that. I'm like, what are you working on? I'm always like I want to know kind of a guy.
You ask good questions.
Well, I thank you. I try to. I still have a lot more questions, good questions to ask. But anyway, we linked up. I got that Sno-Power F14 last year for my truck, and I can't talk highly enough about it. I mean, it's so good where like I'm back here right now hanging out with you guys. We're doing a video and podcast. They're not paying me to be here. Nothing like that, guys. I'm here. I told Bryce, I'm like, whatever it costs to get a new edge on it. Had a leaky cylinder on one of the wings. Nothing crazy. Got to get that looked at. But I'm like, hey, what do I owe you before I'm out of here? And I believe in that plow. It made us so much more efficient, so much more money. I couldn't be more thankful, more excited about it. And I did a whole podcast. Do I think it's your first plow? Probably not. I'm a big V plow guy first. I think that's your Swiss Army knife. But once you start having plow number 2, 3, 4, 5, I would then consider adding a 14 or a 12 or like these rear plows. I mean, that's really where you're going to start picking up some momentum in your snowplow business. So any thoughts that you guys want? Because that 14 is doing really well. It's doing really well for you guys.
Yeah, even like I had my dad plowing for me for like 9 hours on, what was that, Halloween? Because we got 11 inches of
what's
concrete.
up with that, by the way?
I don't know.
Yeah, the 12 inches of wet snow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in October.
Yeah, that's like, I thought November 9th, a couple years ago, was unheard of. Mm-hmm. And then we got that one time, April 4th, 4 or 5 years ago. Yep. We're up north, like Charlevoix, got like 12 inches. Because we went up there in May, and the lady's like, we just basically opened up because it had just finally melted. And so you got 12 inches of concrete?
Yeah. Yeah, so I had him out there. He was in just our version 2 F14, so our newest and greatest, and he didn't even have a back blade. And he was, since, the 80s, like we talked about plowing with a back blade, and he's like, man, before tonight, I was like, you can not take the back blade from me. Well, after this, I think I'd be okay without a back blade.
Right, sure.
And that's a big deal.
Wow.
Because back blade's a game changer.
Yeah.
But now we're talking a front blade that can do the work of a back blade. Mm-hmm. It's even bigger.
That's insane. And I skipped over that. I never had that experience with that rear blade, but it's like, I have my X-Mark Laser Z mower, and like if something goes down and the dealer will give you like the E series, like the base model. And I'm like, no. They
you don't want it.
No. They said, I told them, I said, if you give me an E for my X, I'll kill you. I'm not going back. So I know that once you have your winning horse, your winning dog,
you don't ever want to go back. That's like what people talk about with the Hurricanes. You get the Z and then you demo an X or grab an X or whatever. It's like,
I'm not going back.
Why do I have this?
Absolutely.
Give me my Z back.
Yeah. That's incredible. So what's your take on the 14? You're out there. How'd you get him in the truck for 9 hours?
I had the bag. Bag depleted.
I was like, he's not on the payroll, bro. It's the other way around. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I just wanted to try it out, and I don't know how many times I said "wow" again, and I've said that in talking to people at Equip and everything.
Yeah,
I've been plowing since the '80s, and I'm not trying to brag up our product. I'm just a very genuine type person.
Yeah,
and I'm plowing, and I'm literally catching myself verbally saying out loud, "Wow,
yeah,
how did?"
Yeah, absolutely.
And this new plow, the way it pushes the snow and the way it cushions, it's like pushing snow with a noodle because it can trip or the push cylinder can come back and it all resets. It's all the nitrogen.
Yeah.
You push the plow with the nitrogen. But after that, like Bryson said, I've always said, you can have my front plow. I got to have my back one. But I do think that other than driveways.
Right, sure. Or condos.
I don't need the back blade anymore. And I'm having a hard time saying that because it's deep in me.
Yeah.
But it's true. Now, you must have counterweight in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Because
it's heavy.
That's a true paddle wagon. It just levels out and you got your weight and you can do it. But that back blade, I was back dragging 10 plus inches of heavy wet snow and the plow never lifted. And I couldn't drive up over the snow.
Totally.
Have you ever had that plow lift on you? Even when you're pushing forward, a lot of plows lift up.
No, I had to lift up the plow to get over the damn pile that I'm back dragging 3 feet because I've never experienced back dragging that much snow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because normally, like you use wind or rakes backwards or upwards. You had a word for that in the video. But when you back drag with a traditional plow,
The rake angle.
Yeah, you basically roll the plow up. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't have that same down pressure, down force, whatever you want to call it. There was 5 different times because all we got were these 6-inch, 8-inch, 14-inch snow events. Those are the only couple I can really remember. And I'd be back dragging a driveway down to pavement, down to cement, and I have a 5-foot pile of snow between the Sno-Power and my radiator.
Right.
And I legit had to have Rob get me unstuck a couple times because I'm just back dragging that much snow. And I mean, weird scenario, just weird snowstorms. Extremes though, like that's what you want to test it on. And that's what makes me a believer. I told you when we were in the other warehouse there, I said, it'd be nice if we just got those 3-inch powder snowstorms, then I could really kill it. But I said all we had, and I'm grateful for the snow that we did have because many people know in the Midwest, it was a bust. Yeah. And there's guys in Chicago down 5 million, people down in Pennsylvania down 8 million. We're talking 80% numbers. And so I'm grateful for what we did, but I said just for the back blade and the back dragging alone with the front plow is worth its money. I said, like, I could now, the original game plan, just a little inside baseball, was Rob would go do the residentials with another guy that we had for the sidewalks. And then I would be in truck number 2 doing parking lots. And after the first snow event, I just said, dude, nothing is backbladed this well from the driveways. And we only do like 30, 40 residential driveways, nothing crazy. It takes us about 2-3 hours. But I said, like, here's the actual new game plan. Wherever, whatever part of the route, depending on the time, the amount of snow, all this mess, I said, we're going to link up together. Because I would backblade the drive, and he would just push it into the boulevard while the guy hopped out. Right? And so we did them all together, which I thought we'd branch off. But I was like, I know, not that the other plow struggled. I don't want to throw Boss under the we got a Boss DXT. But it's just not designed the same. It's just not the same product. So I was like, okay, we're teaming up. I'll backblade everything. You guys windrow everything into the piles, into the boulevards. You guys hop out and do the walks. And we were doing 40 driveways backblading and with walks in 2.5 hours. I was like, there's no, like, that's impressive, bro. Like, to me, that's money in the bank. That's productivity. That's me being able to be fed. My guys being able to be fed. That's raises. That's bottom line profit. That's measurable. So I don't know. We should get you guys this whole podcast so I can soundbite it for you.
There you go.
Because I'm telling you straight up, like, I'm that much of a believer. We have another plow in order. It'll be a Boss inside baseball, another V-blade, but those guys have different roles with their trucks and their sites versus the sites that I want to do. And I want to get back into my lane with doing these big commercial parking lots with my plow while they go do smaller sites or HOAs where they got a V-blade and windrow, exclusively. So I'm excited about being back in my lane instead of getting, pulled out of my lane, doing other stuff that we can get another truck to do. Mm-hmm. So now I can really open up that plow even more and take on more sites and continue to grow the bandwidth for my route, my truck, by having that 14 feet really be maximized, versus trying to windrow an HOA. It's not my job. It's not my role with that plow exclusively. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
Well, our plow is pretty expensive, so it's kind of hard for some of the little LCOs to pay that big buck for it.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about this, but we have some last year version F12s and 14s.
Okay.
And I'd like to be able to give back because at one point I was that little guy.
Yeah.
I started with a 52 T handle, lawnmower, and I paid $800 for it. And I had to rebuild spindles and so on. I don't know how I come up with these last minute things, but we probably got maybe 10 or 12 of them, and I'll take $2,000 off each one of them.
For real? Wow. No shoot.
Yeah.
How do people get in touch?
You can go on our website. What is it? Info?
No, snow-power.com.
Right, but
email is info@snow-power.com. And that goes to all of us over here. Like, there's like 5 people that look at that email every single day.
Or Instagram hit you up.
Instagram,
you mounted that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Little age gap here.
Our new F14's 18.5.
Is that right?
And last year, the F14 was 17. But if they want to get an F14 for 15 grand and or an F12 for 14 grand, it's $1,000 difference.
No shoot. That's really cool. You have a couple of them, still a couple SKUs left and hanging around.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of them. I don't know how many, but I know we don't have 20 plows left.
No.
And I'd love to.
Why are you getting all sentimental on me, bro? You're going to make me cry. I can't do this right now. I just cried at my event.
I didn't take my don't get mad at my wife pill because I was in Minnesota and I've been driving and I left my pills. So actually I'm a little bit short on my drug, and that makes me more weepy.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Because I'm a pretty to the chest heart guy. And
I am too.
Somehow I have to tame it because I cry pretty easy because I care for people and stuff. And
I cried at my event when we opened up the room. I cried on my speech. I get.
It's a real deal,
dude. You really do. It's in my bones. I know a lot of people. It's a pony show too, but the reason we do this is like to help other guys succeed. And I'm still beyond still in the come up. You know, I look around this whole place and it's always a humbling experience. You know, and it's crazy too because the success you guys have had. It's like you're the kind of folks you can go to a local barbecue pit with after and just cut up.
Yeah.
And other guys, they don't return my phone call anymore.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's like you guys have always been the real deal.
Yeah. And anybody wants to come and see the facility, I'd love to show them around.
Absolutely. You guys aren't that far from greater Chicagoland, a couple hours.
Yeah, about 3 hours.
Yeah, that's nothing, you know. You've had people come all over Montana, Minnesota, all over the place, come over here and get stuff.
Absolutely.
And you guys are shipping stuff all over the place lately, and more people coming online every day.
Alaska. I think I just set up a good dealer up in Anchorage.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they pay big time shipping to get it there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it goes up by barge.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's like almost like cost prohibitive sometimes to get out to the Pacific Northwest.
$4,000 in shipping to get it from the mainland to there.
Yeah. I had a buddy get a X-Mark Navigator, and it was like $2,000 for freight to get it up there.
Yeah.
Because they had to come by rail car. Just like on its own pallet or whatever, like take up space.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. Wow.
Write notes, Bryson, so we don't forget that pricing, because I tend to blab and
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Well, it's like Brian's 10, but different. You can save 10%.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. That's really, really good. What's the website one more time? snow-power.com?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. And then what's the email?
Info at snow, or dash, however you want to look at it, power.com.
Okay. Hell yeah.
And
yeah, that's
then,
not planned, by the way, guys. Like, that's just, we're in the boardroom, the war room up here.
Yeah.
You know, just hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm getting a new cutting edge on mine, like I said, in a cylinder. And then actually, I got to get back and get my new truck.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to catch up to Bryson. He's got, how many trucks are you running now, bro?
Technically 5, but
Five?
I run 4, yeah.
Jeez, oh, Pete's.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. These young guys keep outpacing me, bro.
And we're going to keep that forever so that we can always stay on the cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
We have to test it.
Yeah, right.
And no disrespect to the other companies that send it out to people in New York or whatever. They take it to the right people, but maybe that company doesn't describe it right to them. You're actually almost still getting it secondhand.
Yep.
And we just we take a lot of pride in what we do.
Well, I was giving some feedback when I got here about a couple of different things, and you're like, never considered that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I don't know if it'll come together, but I'm like, I got to shop the idea around with somebody. I'm not a wizard like you guys putting stuff together here. You guys know how to weld and fabricate and source. I'm always impressed with that kind of stuff because, like the Sean Cujo, the Cujo Yardware shoe guys. I'm like, how did you start a shoe brand? He's like, I actually Googled how to start a shoe company. And he's like, it's like literally the most grassroots, kind of stuff. And I'm sure I could figure out with enough focus on it, but it's just not my lane right now,
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. Well, I got to get moving myself. I got to get out of here at 1. I got a good half hour. I want to go check in on, who's the other tech over there?
Devin.
Yeah. He was really cool. He's another wizard over there. You guys are just always impressed me,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. By the way, a quick mention, we forgot to mention, I'm sure I get a phone call later if I didn't bring it up, the UTV plow.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Yeah.
We put one on a RTV, a Kubota, and we have all of our hydraulics and neutralics and transport and cushion. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, and a lot of people don't fully understand what that plow does. We're literally pushing the plow with nitrogen.
Wow.
Because when you hit a curb, it's not metal on metal.
Yep.
And I think once people really see this in action, even on that little UTV, because when it picks it up, the wingtips come up. It automatically goes into transport.
Yeah.
And that works really good. We're 12 inches closer to the unit.
Wow.
Than a competition's V-plow.
Is that right?
12 inches.
I saw that thing at Sno-Power. I saw you, and I tried to get you, but you were doing videos, and you had a whole TV crew there. Somebody, was that like landscape management or somebody?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
There's so many people you talk to.
Did you see me, though, in your purview, whatever they call that? I was like trying to wave and like distract you, but dude, you were like Mr. Sales Guy doing the dance. Perfect, dude. That's what you should be doing. You know, getting that coverage at Equip. But I saw you guys over there, and it's funny. I was looking at the new Sno-Power, that 14, because that's the new one. Mine doesn't have all the bells and whistles. I'm like, well, because we were in the shop. I'm like, why mine doesn't have kickstands or jack stands. I'm like, that's what I need. We'll have to talk more. But I was at the Equip booth, and the other guy there, he didn't know who I am, and I'm a nobody, obviously. But I was just like, he didn't know I was a customer. I had one, and so he's like, "You want to see the wings kick out?" I'm like, "Sure, man." Like, just I forget the guy. He just wanted to Kurt. Yeah, he just wanted to hit the button, you know. And I was like, "No, man, tell me more." And he's like, "Oh yeah, 14 feet." I'm like, "Wow," you know. So it was cool to see him give the pitch, and he was as passionate as you guys are about the whole deal. But you guys had a banger booth, and I saw you later that day, but I just couldn't get back. Even to Equip, there's no way you can't get back over. You guys were half a mile away on showroom space,
if not longer, more.
Dude, just to get over there, it's an hour trek. Oh, you got FedEx. Thank you, sir. But if anybody wants to get more info, we'll just button it up, man. Where can people find? I know we talked about it a little bit, but call, reach out, text, carrier pigeon.
Yep.
Lo-fi, hi-fi, you got all of it, right?
Yep. And if you want to travel and have it put on, we put them on. It's pretty cool.
That's what I did. Yeah, because I was like, I was trying to. I love Weingarts. They're my people. But I'm like, hey, you need to get this thing. And they're like, well, we need to get a minimum and this. And, we got Boss, and they're like, we don't want to ruffle feathers. And all
they're a great place.
Yeah. So I was like, well, that's fine. But I want a 14. Actually, I wanted the 12, if you remember.
Yeah.
Because Garrett Williams.
Yeah.
Right up in GM Outdoors. He had one. And I was watching his YouTube videos. And I was DMing him on his Instagram. Guys, I reach out to you guys too, just so you know, it's a two-way street. I'm like, what are you using? And I saw his YouTube videos, and that's when I said, hey, I want a 12. And you said, hey, hold up. That was that whole conversation. There was a bigger one coming. So I said, hey, give me the first one, man. I want to check that thing out. I got a new truck on order. I said, that'll be a perfect matchup. Yeah. And I guess the rest is history. But that's what I did. I came over here on that little 2-day soiree. I think somebody had came just a couple of days after me too that saw the videos. The dude from Dayton, Ohio, Clayton Property Services, Adam Clayton, maybe. Yeah, I think he came up and got a plow like just a couple of weeks ago. Clayton, shout out to you, brother, if I didn't mess all that up. But I think it was like greater Ohio area from like Cincinnati area. But he came up and I think he got one. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, cool. Well, any final thoughts that you guys for these guys? But thanks for a trip down memory lane, and thanks for taking it to the front.
Yeah, for
literally,
sure.
No, literally.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you much. Give him some thumbs up or whatever it takes. Brian spends a lot of time on this.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I do it for you guys and just to keep it moving and keep my trucks moving too, man. We all got money to make and family to take care of, man.
Yeah, win-win.
Hell yeah. All right, Rick, always a pleasure, brother. Appreciate you, man. I got you. All right, Bryson, thanks, man.
No problem.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for listening in. Check these guys out. We'll catch up with you guys here on the next episode.
Installing traditional snow stakes is time-consuming, expensive, and downright dangerous. Traditional fiberglass stakes cost as much as double, take twice as long to install, not to mention fiberglass splinters. That's where Plow-Right marking stakes come in. Our patented installation tool and carrying pack makes snow stake installation a breeze, installing up to 450 stakes an hour. Want the fastest and best snow stake system on the market? Look no further than Plow-Right marking stakes. Our stakes are made of hollow polypropylene, which will not crack, break, or splinter like traditional fiberglass stakes. 3 size options, 26, 36, and 46 inches, and 5 standard colors, orange, green, blue, red, and hot pink. Want more visibility than our standard stakes? Look no further than our reflective stakes, which sport a 2-inch 3M reflective band that is the highest grade reflective material ever put on a snow stake. Truly let your stakes be seen. Visit plow-right.com and order yours today. And make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. The link is in the podcast description. And best of all, everything is 100% made in the USA.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.